1111. What is 1111? For me, 1111 is a planetary activation, opening the doorway to consciousness. Earth and humanity will be given an opportunity to enter into a new spiral of consciousness. There are three major alpha points. An alpha point being a place where the energy force is the strongest. The earth forces, the air, the water, the fire, and the earth. All the energy of the elements are in balance. The known major alpha points for the 1111 activation are located in New Zealand, the South Islands, the Great Pyramid in Egypt, Giza, and the Aloha crater in Hawaii. The alpha points will have continuous movement of energy, the wheels within wheels. For 38 hours non-stop, the wheels within wheels are us. We join with each other to unify the sun circle and a moon circle facing the sun circle in inner groups of 11 people, creating the wheels within wheels. The sun group moves clockwise. The moon group moves counterclockwise, creating an energy vortex. This energy is an attempt to unify all the forces across Gaia, a unifying spirit. Locally, 1111 people from all walks of life are coming from a common belief to gather in Jellicoe, Tennessee, to witness this energy unifying movement, the wheels within wheels. White clothing was worn to express the purity and the neutrality of the unified movement. The majority of the people were from Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Georgia, New Jersey. They all came to be a part of the planetary activation through the unified movements to act as a key to open the doorway to higher spiritual consciousness, toward oneness, light, and love, so that we may send this force across the planet's surface. The leader of the gathering was Medicine Bear. Medicine Bear was the earth spirit leading everyone through the wheels within wheels movement. At the end of the ceremony, a deep understanding and a commitment to the earth was felt by all. As our minds wandered and explored, our sensations, thoughts, feelings, emotions played upon our consciousness. Cold chills, crop circles in the sky, a rock, a heart, a circle, holy words, Indian spirits, UFOs, healing colors, meditation, 8 times in my baby mood, vision of a double helix DNA structures. These and many more thoughts crossed our minds. Satisfied, we hugged ourselves, thoughtful to the feeling of the great contentment and the ceremony had given us. A caravan of cars left the mountain and arrived at the lodge at 12:30 a.m. after the 11 p.m. ceremonies. Sleep was never more restful. The next morning at breakfast, personal experiences were shared with the others. I'm looking forward to seeing all the star children once again. We all left our greed, our animosities, our shortcomings, and worked for a unified coming together. It was beautiful, a shared sensitivity of our consciousness with Earth and our awareness of accountability for the well-being of our Earth. Medicine Bear expressed to us the importance as a part of our gathering. Approaching in oneness, leaving oneness. We reflected these physical unification, time, movement, and dress code. This unity speaks of a higher awareness of spiritual oneness. Each of our paths are unique, and our goal is oneness. The words that describe your path may not meet the words to describe others. Yet we know that on respecting the works of the Spirit in all of us, we are all arrived at oneness. Oneness is above and below all of our worlds. Used to describe it, meditation is the word we commonly use to describe while connected to the oneness. Meditation can be the dividing board into the visible pool of oneness. The 7 parts of the chakra system become expanded during meditation into the tree of life as found in the Kabbalah. Chakra 653 open up to allow light to enter the crown chakra and penetrate without disruption in perception. A trust that will set aside our limited knowledge and wisdom, our bias and our judgment, and mercies, and our personal satisfaction and convictions allow higher light and love of oneness to manifest through us. Here on Gia, the free flow creates the rivers of living waters emanating from the chakra. Let it be so. Amen. Ho.
And then there's the vision of the pyramid flashing out of the rising sun and moving northward.
Life quickened and intensified. The circle slid upwards into the sky and into our hearts. From places afar we had gathered, but we were here, now, and one. We were not alone that day. All states of beingness were present. From the dawn until the morrow, we were one. The reclaimed earth, the cool, crisp air, the grass under our feet, the moon at noon, the wink of a star. From above, a thread of love through all. A thread of love ran through all. Those at Dove Mountain interwove a tapestry around outside the world. I saw the skies shift. I saw the lights flick and flit across the darkness. I am at home with my thoughts. CB, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Although we are one, and separate individuals like the midway, we are joined together like the assembly of a completed star. We gather joyously with the focus of energy, light, love, and peace. Then there was the experience of seeing 2 star-like lights flashing, pulsating in the sky, visible in the northeast direction, close to the top of Dove Mountain. At first, there appeared 2 angels, one on each side of the energy light doorway. Then I thought that it might just be from 2 angels of 2 legions of angels gathered to connect Dove Mountain with the rest of the world. This occurred when we performed the ceremony at 6:11 p.m. for the focus of unity of the universal light energy. Later, I learned that these were 2 energy cords woven of silver and golden threads. One of these energy cords was carrying and pulsating the incoming light energy, while the other energy cord indicated the pulsating outgoing light. 2 celestial allowed Dove Mountain to interconnect with the international grid pattern as Mother Earth was covered in a protective blanket of energy, love, and peace. Then at 10 p.m. it happened. The formation in the sky finally gathered and formed a gigantic white dove. The white dove was visible until about 10:10 p.m. in the body of prayer of the Abba of our Father. R.B., Louisville, Kentucky. With amazement, I saw the 4 horsemen on 4 white horses And it was not sin, phantom, war, and death we faced, the return of the sons of God, charging among us as great beings of light. And I knew that no form of darkness necessitates itself in this earth if we only welcome the light. I watched the cogs in the great cosmic clock turn as men, women, and children moved silently as wheels within wheels. Saw the mind of God. One great being of God, which we are, is awakening. Part earth, part human, part star system. Its vocal point is who we are. When we act transpersonally as a moving, sounding being, breathing being of love, the two worlds meet. Heaven came down to earth and lifted us up. The earth is where I am. This earth is where I long to be. With brothers and sisters of love, I quicken, we quicken, God quickens. When we get it right, it's play. Creative love, expanding infinitely. Dr. LME, Spring Hill, Tennessee.
I greeted my angelic presence and became guardian of the wheels. The wheels tightened, shoulder to shoulder, arm over arm. A wonderful circular wall formed, white and glowing with love. It was Stonehenge-like as well as temple-like. The wheels were glowing, spinning, and humming. The four-directional fire shot forth with sparkles in a rhythmic dance with the wheels. Together we played and prayed for more love and light to encircle the earth and expand outward and inward for all our relations. God help us all. J.S., Cookeville, Tennessee.
Performing the activation with the beautiful sun rising was very powerful and beautiful. Constructing a human medicine wheel felt good. Riding back up the mountain for the 11:11 a.m. activation, I could feel the energy getting stronger. There was a peacefulness in the group. After the activation, we stood in a circle and sang. Such an angelic choir the earth has never felt. For the 6:11 p.m. worldwide activation, we built fires on the east, south, west, and north. We were all circled within the fires. A cloud cover which had just come in separated just before the activation, revealing the beautiful sky in all its splendor. Our space brothers and sisters were out in force, as well as the angelic realm. The energy at this activation was the most powerful of all. After the activation, Medicine Bearer made an impassioned plea for forgiveness for what we have done to Mother Earth. Everyone was moved to tears. When the 6:11 activation was over, many of us stayed on the mountain to enjoy the fires and the music. The 4.5 hours to 11:11 p.m. seemed like a half an hour. I have been involved in many spiritual events in my lifetime, but I have never felt a completion as I did with this event. I feel like I have finally found my mission and am committed to seeing it through. My wings finally opened. During one circle movement in the early morning sunrise ceremony, I saw just below one star before complete sunrise a huge shadow of a caped figure. I saw a twinkle of blue-violet starlight of energy between a couple who were embraced. I felt this to be a very holy encounter with lots of love, oneness, and commitment. I am honored to be a part. Terre Haute.
Earth and humanity will be given an opportunity to enter into a new spiral of consciousness. water, the fire, and the earth. All the energy of the elements are in balance.
We all know the importance of breathing, but did you know that your breath could transform your life? According to studies, 90% of us do not breathe properly, and this causes stress, it causes poor health. My guest says that you can change your breath and it can transform your life. My guest is Judith Kravitz. She's a master rebirther, a licensed prayer therapist, and creator of the Transformational Breath Workshop. Welcome, Judy. It's a lovely pleasure to have you with us. We do not breathe properly, is that what you're saying?
Most people don't. Of the people I work with, about 90% of them have very restricted breathing patterns.
I think that I probably am one of them. We never really learned how to breathe properly. Is there a technique to breathing properly that we don't know of? Or what is the way to breathe correctly and what is the way we're breathing now?
What happens as we go through life in this dimension, things happen that are upsetting or traumatic to us. And every time we feel a trauma or a negative energy, we notice how sometimes if you get afraid, you hold your breath. Well, as these things happen, these restrictions get blocked in the flow of the breath, and they call these repressions. And so years and years of holding things back, having negative thoughts, start to restrict the flow of the breath. And that's what happens. These traumas are repressed into the breathing mechanism. And so there are ways of opening the flow of the breath and allowing these old repressions to come out and to heal the breath.
Is that what you teach?
I teach it and I work with people and also train people to do this kind of work.
Now, what is the correct way to breathe? Is there, what is the way we should be breathing?
Well, I don't like to use correct or incorrect, but I like to say effective, as far as the reason we breathe is to get oxygen and energy, and so we can get more oxygen and energy by breathing more effectively. There is a flow of the breath that starts in the lower diaphragm, which is down here in the abdomen, and it can go all the way up to the upper chest. What I've noticed is people shut their breath off. Some people just breathe in the upper chest, some people just breathe in the lower diaphragm, some people just breathe in the middle. And each of these areas can be opened and freed up so that people can have a big, full breath. It's kind of like taking it in here. And then you can get all the oxygen and energy that you need.
Is this the way that we breathe all the time from this level? Even when we're sitting here, this is the way we should be breathing?
It could, if we want to get the most out of the process, yes. And a lot of times people stop and don't breathe. They breathe only when they absolutely have to take that next breath. Matter of fact, most people breathe that way. And this can be corrected too, to have a continuous flow of breath coming in and out. And that helps keep the mind peaceful and keep us in the present.
Is this like yoga breathing, or is this something similar, or?
Well, it's actually very different. The yoga breaths are to create specific results in the energy field. My colleague and I have developed a breath called the Transformational Breath, which over each of us working in the breathing field for 20 years each have done a lot of experimenting and experiences and have come up with this type of breath that allows people to really open up their breath, clear, say, blockages in the subconscious, allow them to have more energy, more peace, and also to allow them to connect more fully with their spirits or their higher selves.
What are the benefits of proper breathing?
Well, among the ones I mentioned, which are, like I said, you have a lot more energy because in truth the breath is prana, it is life force energy, it's spirit, it has intelligence. So the more we bring into our system, the more energy we have to work with. And it is also symbolic of the amount of good we can accept in our lives. The more good breath we can bring in, the more good we're able to experience. So it's a matter of one, having more energy. Another is emotional, allowing us to clear emotional stress through the breath. That the breath can be a very powerful tool for creating peace of mind and just emotional harmony. If we have anger or fear, we can do certain breathing patterns and clear these patterns out.
Now, I think you might have mentioned earlier that a lot of these problems stem from childhood. How long does it take before you can get that out just from breathing?
Well, amazingly enough, because of the accelerated times on the planet right now, it's not taking very long at all. That's what is so exciting about this work, that it's really miraculous right now, that in a matter of a few sessions doing this transformational breathing technique, people can clear out years of trauma from the past, literally at the cellular level. That what we're doing is transforming the cellular structure by introducing a very high frequency energy into the electromagnetic field.
Now, would you explain that a little further?
I'll try. Okay, when we do this specific breathing technique, which is basically a purifying method for purifying mind and body, it creates a very high frequency energy. I think everyone, excuse me, I got an itchy nose. I think everyone's aware that we're all energy at the basic level of our being. We're all energy vibrating. Okay, some of these old emotional traumas and negative thoughts vibrate at a very low frequency, and they're part of our electromagnetic field. They're part of our energy field. So what happens is we breathe in this specific breathing technique, and it vibrates at a very high rate. And what happens, it comes in through our breath, and it causes these lower vibrational frequencies to begin to vibrate at that same high frequency. And it's a universal principle called entrainment, and we call it integration. It integrates these lower frequencies into a higher frequency. The wonderful part about it is that it's permanent, that once these frequencies are integrated, these lower frequencies, they're no longer part of our system, and they're permanently cleared out of the electromagnetic field.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, is it released forever?
It is.
So we're dealing with breathing to get rid of the negative energy that's in there, and the breath takes the negative energy away. And how long does this take for this process to happen?
Well, it's pretty individual, and it depends on how we've dealt with stress and trauma in this world. If we're the type of person that holds it in or goes into denial or is not comfortable expressing our feelings, then we probably have layers and layers of this emotional repressions. Or if we've been told a lot of negative things about ourselves and they've been recorded at the subconscious level, then there's a fair amount of say, build up at the subconscious mind level. But what we're seeing happen is, like I said, this amazingly rapid ability to clear away these patterns. A few sessions seems to be pretty appropriate for most people. Then if someone wants to go on and do more accelerated work with the breath, that's a possibility, and they can go on and do higher forms of, say, activation, meaning connections with your spirit and your higher chakras through the breath work.
This really sounds fascinating. I think you work along with therapists, do you not? Because I think this takes away must take away months or years of therapy.
I do. There's a psychotherapist who I work with on the Cape and have actually trained him to do this work. And I was just there today actually working in his office, and he feels that one of these sessions is equivalent to a couple years of psychotherapy. Because what happens is we work at the level of the subconscious, and this is the emotional body, and we work at the vibrational and cellular level. So by working at that level, we're able to vibrationally clear out, and the mind can work at its level, and so things that are happening at the conscious level can be dealt with at the conscious level. But there are a lot of things happening to us now that are deeper than that, and we need to core out what we call the original cause of some of these patterns of our experience and behavior.
So actually you can get rid of some of the old patterns, but is it necessary to acknowledge them as they're leaving? Is that a possibility?
Sometimes a person will get a specific memory and association with the causation of this pattern. It could be at a childhood trauma. It could actually be your physical birth. What's happening now, for most part, people are just feeling it energetically because it's happening so quickly and so powerfully that you will feel the waves of energy come in and clear these patterns and be gone. But if there is a higher purpose to remembering the causation, then that will happen too.
Now, for mental disorders, I mean, some very serious problems, does that take a very long time? I hate to sound so optimistic, but what's happening now, like I said, it's happening so fast. What's actually we are doing is taking away what I would call the false negatives. These are the things, the negativity and negative emotions that aren't really our true essence or our true self. And so what's happening is that these false patterns are being cleared so that we can be really and truly who we are. Amazing. Now, how about addictions? Does this help?
Yes, we've had a lot of good, and we don't make specific claims as we will cure this physical symptom or you can be free of smoking if you do this. But what happens, and what we've learned in metaphysics, is that everything that we experience on the physical plane has a mental or emotional cause. So what happens is this clears away these mental and emotional patterns so that the physical symptoms automatically disappear. And I've had clients who have gotten rid of, cleared away asthma, stress, heart conditions, rashes, stopped smoking cigarettes, have what would you call multiple personalities disappear. Amazing, you name it. And we've had specific results to this, although we don't claim to do any of this specifically.
It's fascinating. How long have you been doing this, Judith?
I've been doing the breath work for 12 years. And just in the last 2 years, I started out as a rebirther in California, and just the last 2 years have just been being very strongly guided as to these new transformational technologies that are being available on this plane because of the wonderfully accelerated times we're in now.
Are you going to show our audience how to breathe properly? Are we looking forward to that?
Well, we could. We could give it an example of a correct breath, or well, let's say an opened, clear breath from someone who's done some breathing work. And I also wanted to share, if we had time, a couple of just breathing exercises people could do at home just to either energize themselves or use another one to help them meditate more easily.
Wonderful. Look forward to that. When we come back, more of Judith Kravitz and Transformational Breath.
Yeah, well, I just got this new video game. It's called Zap 9. It's got 2 Zap Blasters.
So, I'm getting my own phone next week. Wow. What are you getting?
Excuse me, guys. I gotta run.
After all the toys and games are gone, good fitness habits can last a lifetime. A healthier, happier lifetime. All it takes is a regular exercise program for yourself and those you love. Start now. Make fitness a family affair.
Welcome back. We're talking to Judith Kravitz about the transformational breath technique. Judith, you mentioned earlier that if you breathe properly, you become in the flow of life. Can you explain that a little further?
Okay. What I've noticed after working with thousands of people, that when our breath is open and clear, and it's flowing correctly, we're in the flow with life. And as much as it's not open and clear, we're out of the flow with life. And it can be very specific in that, for example, if someone is breathing down here and not up here, then it's an indication that they're out of the flow in areas of their heart and love. So that when we open these areas in the heart, this allows for fuller love expression. And it's not that they have to go home and do anything differently. It's just that when you open this area up, the love flows better and there's more expression of love. And it goes right down the line to every area that, it's sort of like palm reading. I could look at someone's breath and literally know what's going on with them in their life, in their experience, in their behavior, just by the flow of breath, where it's shut off. And then when we open it up, those areas automatically change in their life.
And you said that they change permanently, so it doesn't close off again. I keep wondering about that, whether it's going to close off again, and maybe some of the old patterns are going to be there.
Yeah. If you're not aware and you're not consciously keeping it open, it very well could close, but that's part of what we teach, is being conscious of the breath, being conscious of the gift that breath is, and to keep our breath open and flowing so that we can stay in the flow of life.
You said you were going to show us some exercises. Can you?
Sure. Does everybody
do that
want
now?
to try some?
We're ready.
All right. The first one is for energy, extra energy. We call this the Kundalini breath because it allows us, if we're feeling tired or we might want another cup of coffee, this allows us to have a greater flow of energy. We're going to do it for about 1.5 minutes just so people can feel it. And it's real simple. Everyone want to stand up and try it? Okay. It works with the Kundalini energy, and it brings the energy up into the higher chakras and allows us just to feel how we can speed the energy up and enhance our energy by just using the breath we'll just do it for 1 minute so you can just get a sense. And it's real simple. We're just going to inhale and bring our hands up and exhale and bring them down, but we're going to do it quickly and try to have our tummies go out as we inhale. So it's kind of a
And how long do we do this for?
Well, you want to do it for 3 minutes, but we'll just do it for a minute.
Okay, we'll just do it for a minute.
It's a great one to do in the morning when we wake up.
Okay. I hope our audience out there can get up there and do this.
It clears away the fogginess from our sleep, and it really energizes us.
Do we do this first thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning when you wake up, and you won't need any coffee. 5 more
that's
seconds.
great.
1. Okay, nice deep breath. Just feel the energy.
We have a whole new group here. You can all sit down now. Thank you very much. That was fun. Now, you do this during a session, or is this how you conduct a session, or that was just an exercise?
This is just one of the exercises we teach people. We literally have hundreds of different breathing patterns that we use to create different experiences in our energy field or in our experience.
Now, how long does a lesson or a process with you take? Is it a lesson?
Well, it's kind of both. It's a re-education and a reformation of the breathing patterns. It's a clearing of the subconscious, and it's literally bringing spirit into the physical form. So those are the 3 levels of the work that we do in our initial sessions.
And how long does it take?
Usually about 1.5 hours, sometimes 2 hours.
Depending on how much has to come out?
Yes, and how much we need to talk and how long it takes a person to kind of get back in their body reality.
Can you give me just an idea of what you do during a session?
Okay. Well, what happens is we start working with the breathing pattern that creates this high frequency energy, and a person is lying down comfortable and relaxed, and we specifically answer any questions or get to know each other first, because it's a very intense process in that the energy is very powerful. And so we want everyone to feel as comfortable and safe as possible. So we'd go through the initial and then have someone lie down. And the first part is I will analyze the breathing pattern and have people breathe into those areas that they have traditionally closed off or repressed. And as they breathe into these areas, these energies open up and these old repressions come into consciousness, and you literally feel them as they are integrating or releasing. And so if there's a pattern of anger, you might all of a sudden feel angry. And as you do, you just breathe through it, and that pattern is vibrationally entrained from the energy field. And this happens sometimes. Most people go back to their physical birth initially, and then we go from that, and even some people go back to past life traumas.
You go back to the time that the person was born?
Yes.
And they can you tell me how that works?
Okay. What happens is birth is one of the largest traumas we ever go through, just because of the way it's handled in this culture, and because it's the major change we ever go through. So it's a pretty traumatic experience because of partially the insensitivity to us being aware, conscious beings at that time, and it's also kind of treated as a medical sickness as opposed to this wonderful natural experience. So it's very traumatic, and what we've done is usually repress the whole experience into our unconscious level of our mind. And so we can go back through this breath, tap into it, and heal that initial trauma of the breath and of what we thought life on this planet was about, which from our first impression wasn't usually very positive. About half the negativity in our subconscious mind comes from the birth experience.
And as we're doing it, say how many sessions to take all of that pretty much out?
I would say between 2 and 4, 2 or 5.
That's all?
Yeah. But what happens, people become addicted to the breath and the high that you get from breathing, because it's such a powerful lifting of energies. And so what happens, people want to do this the rest of their lives. So we train people to work with the breath on their own.
Well, we have David here. David, you had a wonderful experience with Judith. Want to tell us about it?
Yes.
Stand, please.
Judith came to Virginia Beach and did a workshop there, and I had a chance to get with her the next day and do a private session. And I've been trying for several years to feel meditation, my contact with the spirit that lives within me, and I could never do that. And through this process, I had a very powerful experience. I experienced my birth again. A lot of things happened in my body, and I just felt a real vibration and a real energy from the experience, and so I had to come back and do it again.
So how many lessons or treatments did you have?
I did about 4 sessions with her, and then I chose to take the training.
I see. I want to tell us what that training is all about.
Yes, it's pretty powerful also, and I've learned so much about myself in this training. I've learned how to do this to myself, the breathing process. And when I experience emotional or stressful things during my day, I've become aware of how just through the breath that I can release all this and just get some real satisfaction and comfort in being in this crazy world.
Just from what I've heard and from my own personal guidance, I know that this is a time, a very powerful time for transformation on the earth, that we have all have seen a lot of the changes going on. It is a time of enlightenment, and the earth is aligning with her spirit body, and that's what's happening to all the individuals on this plane now. So to go into this whole shift of this new reality, there is going to be a lot of physical changes, and some might even view it as chaos, and yet it's just the changing into literally a new age. And we're feeling it, and it's really important for us now to be present and to be clear and to be who we are. And that's why we've been giving these wonderful gifts like the breath to create these states of being.
It's interesting, though, because the breath has been around for a long time, but no one has really put emphasis on the breath as a healing tool and as a transformational tool. You have workshops, too, don't you, Judith? You want to tell us about those?
I do, thank you. I give a beginning workshop in different cities. They're continually happening. There's one coming up here in Boston, and people can call the number that we'll be giving later. And it basically teaches us some wonderful exercises to do for breathing. I will do individual breath analysis for everyone at the workshop so they know what's going on with their breath, and we'll show them how they can really connect with spirit by using the breath.
Thank you. Well, I think we're almost out of time here, but I would like to ask you to say a few words just before we do end the show. For all of us who really haven't started this, who would like to, I know I had one session with you and I felt extraordinary results. It would make me want to go back. Can you just give us some things to expect when we first think about this whole process, because it is new for us?
Well, if you are initially feeling drawn to do this, I would say do it, because what happens is we get guidance and then all of a sudden the mind kicks in with fears and apprehensions. So I would just say give yourself a gift of transformation. It's quick, it's non-toxic, it's a wonderful way to really experience who you are.
Thank you so much, Judith. It's just been a delight. And thank you for the audience. Give yourselves a big hand. You were wonderful. Thanks for being here. And thank you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time. If you'd like to reach Judith Kravitz, the number will be on the screen. Transformational Breath. Thanks again for joining us. Good night.
Barb and I just got together and started sharing some ideas of how much we had grown in the 12-step program, and got in touch with our own inner joy and decided that we wished to share that and make it open to a place that was safe and sharing for everyone, so that they could come and experience their own inner selves and have a transformation. Barb quit real estate and I got out of the retail business and decided that we would find a new way to share ourselves with other people in a very non-threatening atmosphere, and we decided that we needed to give our full time and effort to that, coming from a place inside of us, which was our heart. We did a lot of talking about how we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be very non-threatening. We wanted it to be open to everyone. We wanted to grow and change and see that there were choices in their lives and that they didn't have to continue living in sadness or pain and in darkness, that it was about being happy and being in touch with ourselves and being in love with ourselves and in love with life. That we've been given a beautiful gift from the universe, Great Spirit God, whatever you wish to call it, and that being here was about expressing that inner joy and that beauty.
originally 12 feet wide and 3 feet high and was made entirely out of the same glacial till that you're standing on today. In our archaeological research, we have tried to relocate a portion of the wall right where you're standing here. You'll notice that the ground is very irregular. This is from excavations that we conducted last summer, partially in an attempt to locate the parallel wall. We're not sure if we actually found the parallel wall, but what we did find was evidence for ceremonial structures that had been built and then rebuilt in the same location over probably several hundred years, right where you are standing now. These structures were built out of wood, and then the posts that were used as wall supports have decayed, leaving dark stains in the soil, which we can still locate when we excavate. The parallel walls originated at these two twin mounds, located right here, and extended to the northeast for a distance of about 1/2 mile. They actually crossed Middleborough Road and extended beyond the line of trees that you can see in the distance. That line of trees runs along Middleborough Road. So the parallel walls actually continue on the other side of Middleborough Road. Now, the way in which we have decided this is probably the alignment of the parallel walls is based on a map that was made in 1891. Back in that year, Warren K. Moorhead did do some excavations at the Fort Ancient site for the World's Columbian Exposition, and he hired a surveyor to come out here and to provide very accurate survey notes of the earthwork. Now, these notes were never completely plotted out. In other words, a map was never made which used all of those measurements until 1983, when I found the notes in the Peabody Museum and gave them to a civil engineer, Jim Marshall, up in Chicago, who then took those maps and plotted out where the parallel walls would have been. And it is from his survey notes that we determined that this is the probable alignment for the parallel walls. What we are here today is to see whether this alignment actually points exactly toward the summer solstice sunrise or if it is off slightly. We were not able to observe this last year because it was cloudy and rainy, and we weren't able to see the sun until it had risen a considerable distance above the horizon. Now, what we are interested in observing here is the first gleam of the sun. And this is the point where we can first see it as it rises over the trees. Those trees would not have been here 2,000 years ago. And so we are not going to be able to see the sun until it has risen higher than what the Hopewell would have been able to observe. So the sun will be slightly to the south of the alignment that the Hopewell would have been able to see. Because what the summer solstice is the point where the sun, in its rise, it rises at the northernmost point in the sky. And from here on until December, sunrise will gradually migrate to the south. And then for winter solstice sunrise, there will appear to be another, what we call a standstill, where the sun does not appear to move one way or the other for a period of about 4 to 5 days, and then it will begin to move to the northward again until the summer solstice. We think that the Hopewell, who constructed this earthwork, were interested in summer solstice sunrise in terms of establishing a calendar. And basically, we think they may have used this to time ceremonial events that occurred here at the earthwork. We are not entirely sure what activities went on here, but Fort Ancient was probably not used as a fort. For one thing, it has a 3.5 mile perimeter inside the walls, and it has 72 gateways or openings in it. It would have taken tens of thousands of people to defend it, and we have no evidence for anyone ever living inside the fort, much less tens of thousands of people ever spending considerable amounts of time in this area. So we think that the only power or force strong enough to cause the Hopewell to construct an earthwork as large as this and as massive as this one, with 23-foot-high walls that are approximately 60 to 80 feet thick in areas such as the walls you see over here, is that it was probably a spiritual or a religious reason. And we think that summer solstice sunrise was extremely important to them in timing some of their ceremonial activities. there is another summer solstice sunrise alignment inside Fort Ancient itself. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed it before, but there are 4 mounds inside the North Fort that form a perfect square, 512 feet on a side. If you stand at the southwest of those mounds and sight through the first gateway to the north of the highway, you are looking at an angle that is north 58 degrees 20 minutes east, and that is the exact alignment for summer solstice sunrise, given the horizon that we have here. If we were down in the valley across the river at the Sun Serpent over there, we would be looking at a very different alignment. We would not be able to see the sun until much later. In fact, in past years, it's been possible to come here, look at the summer solstice sunrise, drive down to the bottom of the hill, go out to the Sun Serpent, and observe the sunrise down there too, because it occurs enough later that you can actually do both on the same morning. I don't know if there's any plans for observing the sunrise down there this summer solstice or not. I have not been in this immediate area long enough to talk to the people over there. So what we are waiting for now is first gleam. We can see it's already pretty light, but we don't yet have the sun appearing over the trees. Now, if our alignment is off by a considerable distance, we may not see the sun through this little gap that we have cleared. Now in this case we've got the 2 lunar alignments and the summer solstice alignment all originating at the same mound. And the summer solstice alignment goes through the first gateway to the north of the highway. The northernmost moonrise is one gateway to the north of that, and the southern northernmost moonrise is the one gateway just to the south of the highway. But they all originate at the same mound. And John White, who's the archaeologist studying the Sun Serpent, followed that, surveyed that across the hill and came up into Fort Ancient. He informs me that his alignment going across the valley points toward that same mound. And I really don't think that's coincidence.
Really?
For the probable, and I'm calling it probable right now, there seems to be also a winter solstice alignment that may be possible here. It depends on the horizon. We actually tried to test this. We tried to look for alignments through every single gateway. What we found is that there are very few walls that are constructed high enough on the hill so that you actually have a clear view of the sky when you look through the gateway. In most cases, you're looking down a little bit into a ravine. And in cases like that, even where we seem to have possible alignments, we threw them all out. The only ones that we accepted were the ones where you had a clear view of the horizon itself.
What's the current best guess age for the work?
Well, I would say the best guess is around the time of Christ. I think the South Fort may have been built earlier than that, and I'll be trying to get some material from that this summer to see if I can establish that for sure. In fact, we have submitted charcoal that we got from a wall in the South Fort 2 years ago to a laboratory for dating. We should have the results back from that sometime this summer from the South Fort. It takes longer because of the quantity of charcoal that we had. And, it's also from the ditch adjacent to the wall, not from the wall itself. And we had to submit 2 dates to try and check each other to see if what we are getting is the construction of the wall or something later in time. I have a feeling it's to the south, but I don't know.
Hello. Thanks again for joining us for Yoga Energy Systems. Today we're going to do exercises that strengthen the abdominals, the whole set of muscles along the front of the body. Now, a lot of us need stronger abdominal muscles to help aid in digestion and elimination and to relieve the tension on the back. But don't do these exercises if you just ate a big meal or if you have a lot of back pain. Consult a physician, see if this is appropriate. It's best that these be done on an empty stomach. The first strengthener that we'll do is just simply sit in any way that's comfortable for you, and as you inhale, let your abdominal muscles relax. And then as you exhale, as you breathe out, contract the abdominal muscles, press them towards the backbone, flatten them out. And then as you inhale, just let your whole belly, abdominal organs relax, all the muscles relax. And then as you exhale, contract, and see if you can strengthen the muscles just by contracting and flattening them. Then when you inhale, let the whole abdominal area relax again. So this is getting you in touch with where the abdominal muscles are and how you can strengthen them just by contracting them. Now let's go to the knee to chest position, which we'll do lying down. So lying down with one knee bent, which is a nice protective place to have it. Okay. Take the other knee and bring it in towards the chest. And as you breathe out, feel your abdominal muscles contracting in order to bring this knee in towards the chest. Inhale, release the knee. Exhale, contract the abdominal muscles and press the knee in towards the chest again. Inhale, release, and the abdominal muscles relax. Once more, exhale, press the knee in towards the chest, contract the abdominals, and then release. Now do the same thing with the other knee. As you breathe out, reach around the outside of the knee, bring it in, press, massaging the internal organs, and as you inhale, let the abdominal muscles totally relax. Exhale, bring the knee, press it into the chest. Inhale, relax. Exhale, press the knee once more, last time, and then relax. Good. Now to increase the strength in the abdominals, you can bring the knees both into the chest. That's it. As long as that's comfortable for you, it releases the tension in the back and strengthens the abdominals. Now see if you can start to lift the head and chest, which requires strength in the whole front of the body, and then lower it down. Now with the knees bent, as you breathe out, lift the head and chest up towards the knees, and then lower down. And then breathe out, lift the head and chest up towards the knees, and then lower down. Exhale, last time, lift the head and chest up towards the knees, and then lower down. Good, and then let your legs rest on the floor and your abdominals relax for just a moment. Now we're going to do a slow leg lift. but take the full count of breathing in to lift the leg up. So again, one knee, let's have the right knee bent, and that foot's on the floor. And now you're going to be lifting the left leg, strengthening not only the abdominal muscles, but the hip flexor and the quadriceps. So as you breathe in, lift that straight right leg up. And as you breathe out, lower that straight right leg down to the floor. Now for some people this might be too much of a challenge, so you can bend your knee and lift the leg up. Okay. But for other people, keep the leg straight and see if you can bring the lower back to the floor. So if you let the lower back arch up, that's too much strain on it. So use your abdominal muscles, lower the back to the floor, press it down, and inhale, lift the leg up as you breathe in. And as you exhale, keep the lower back on the floor and lower the leg down. Okay, let's do the other side. So now it's the left knee that's bent and the right leg that's straight. Keep the lower back on the floor, inhale, and slowly lift the leg up. And exhale, slowly breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out, and down. Now, as you continue to do this, if you want more of a challenge, you could put a weight, like a 1 or 2 pound weight, on the ankle of the straight leg. Okay? But for some people, it might be better just to start like this or with the knee bent. Remember, that's the other option. Okay. So last time, inhale and lift the leg up. Exhale, lower it down. Good, so that strengthens the abdominal muscles and the hip flexors and the quadriceps. Now I'd like you to do this really nice, simple routine for strengthening the whole abdominal muscles and massaging them as well. Keep the right knee bent and bring the left knee in towards the chest. This time you inhale. This is a little different. Breathe in and press the thigh against the chest. Now as you breathe out, stretch. This is going to tone the belly. Lift the head and arms up. They're parallel to each other. And as you breathe in, this is the belly toner. Breathe in and press. Breathe out and lift the head. The head looks up towards the ceiling. The arms are straight and the leg is in line with the bent knee. And breathing in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Last time, breathe out. The shoulders just come ever so slightly up off the floor. You can feel you're using the strength in your abdominal muscles. Now on the other side, the belly toner. Inhale. This is a little different. Inhale and press the thigh against the chest. Exhale, lift the head, shoulders, and keep that right leg now straight and in the same plane as the left leg. And inhale. Exhale. Eyes look up at the ceiling and breathing in. Massaging the internal organs, breathing out. Using the abdominal muscles to lift the head and chest. Last time, breathe in and breathe out. Good. And stretch your arms up over your head. Oh! Roll over and sit up. And again, notice how you've used and strengthened the whole muscles along the front of the body that support your internal organs, that maintain healthy posture, relieve back strain, and give you a sense of being from a strong center. Once more, as you breathe in, let the belly relax. And as you exhale, contract the abdominal muscles all along the front. That's it. Yeah. So now you have a little bit more strength in the whole front of your body, more support. See you next time at Yoga Energy Systems. Thanks. Hatha Yoga is a soothing exercise that's practiced by people of all ages and fitness levels. You may not do the exercises the same as you see on the screen, but you'll receive the benefit from moving as far as is comfortable for you. Remember to go at your own pace and stop anytime you want to and relax. For information on yoga classes, seminars, and a copy of yoga exercises you can do at home or at the office, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to YES, P.O. Box 37332, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45222.